Hey everybody, welcome to video number 4 where we're going to talk about target personas and or avatars as they're also called. Do not get these two things confused. They are exactly the same thing. Basically what a target persona or your customer avatar is a fictional representation of your customer base. Now, let me highlight here. This is very important. Do not skip this part, okay? It's okay to go on with the rest of the training. Just make sure you come back here before you actually start your funnels and create these target personas, because this is going to be how you're going to be creating your marketing messages moving forward, okay? So let me just show you, we'll go into here what is a targeting persona or customer avatar. Basically, again, these are fictional character representations that you are going to create. You're going to want them to represent the wants and needs of your customer base. So you're going to have to understand what your customer wants, what your customer needs, and why they're going to want your product as well. Okay. And then you're going to want to create target personas for each segment of your customer base to better target your messaging. Now, I'm going to give you a real world example, and I'm going to give you a very fictitious example because I want to drive the point home, okay? I'm going to give you the latter one first. Let's say you have a very generic product that would interest a 16-year-old male and a 60-year-old male, okay? Odds are that would never happen, but again, this is just an extreme example. The messaging that you would want to create to get the interest of that 16-year-old is going to be totally different than what's going to get the interest or the attention of the 60-year-old, okay? Because that 16-year-old is interested in skateboarding, maybe buying his first car, video games, movies, okay? The 60-year-old interests are going to be retirement, money and investments, vacationing, right? So the marketing messages you're going to want to create for these two individuals are going to be completely different in order to get their attention to buy your product. Now, let me give you a real world example. Okay, this is something that we do in my agency. And again, this is kind of a sample. Okay, and let me enlarge this so you can see it. So basically, we deal with, we have a couple of different marketing segments. We have our big four, which are going to be restaurants, retailers, chiropractors, and day spas. But within those, we also have sub segments as well. So with our restaurants, for example, we have our mom and pops, we have our franchise owners, and we have chefs. Okay. Now, when you create these fictional characters, you're going to want to give them a name. So with our mom and pops, we have Rick and Jane. Our franchise owners are Brian and Amy. Our chefs are Francis and Kate. Now, you realize this could be Rick and Jane as individuals. It could be Rick and Jane as a couple, okay? We're creating male and female personas for each one of these subsegments as well, all right? Generally speaking, they're going to be 50 plus years of age. They have a traditional family upbringing. Maybe their family is working within the restaurant. And as far as their interests go, their interests are all about family and spending family time together. Okay. Our franchisees, Brian and Amy, they're going to be between 40 and 50 years old. They may have 1 to 3 kids. Generally, they have 2 to 3 kids. They're in high school and college. Their main interests are going to be like money, magazine, vacationing, and I was going to say investments as well. And then we have our chefs, Francis and Kate. They're going to be 30 plus. Generally, they have no kids. They're not married. They live a very modern lifestyle, and they're into fashion, art, and design. Okay. So the messaging that we're going to create here for these 3 different segments are going to be very different from one another. We're not going to want to create messaging around art and design and fashion to attract mom and pops. We're definitely not going to do that for franchisee owners because they have no control over fashion, art, or design in their restaurants. They're given a box to work in, and that's what they have to work in. They have to work in that box. They cannot go outside of that, okay? At the same time, we're not going to construct messaging around family for our chefs because that's generally not who our customer is. All right. So the more you drill down here, the more granular you get, the better chance you are to find your perfect customer. Now, the way you're going to get a lot of this information is by surveying your current customer base to get a lot of this. But once you do this, this is going to make a huge difference in your messaging. It's going to make a huge difference in the performance of your funnels. So how does this look in regards to your funnel? So we're going to show you that here. Okay. Basically, your target persona or your avatar is going to be applied to your traffic source, which then goes to your top of funnel. That's why this is very important to start here. This should be your first step. Okay. So remember your target persona, creating your target personas and your customer profiles. Start thinking about that and jotting down that information because you're going to need that here very, very, very soon. Okay. We'll see you in the next video.